This is a story of a warrior from a disconnected city running and having fun in the world of Hokage. Don't ask me why a man should be called Wugeng Liuli. This is the last name I saw before traveling, so I just used it casually. Bo Feng Shui Gate. I can fly the Thunder God technique. I can teleport. Chimu Kakashi. Eat me 1,000 birds. Thunder Barrier. Moonlight Breeze. Woodleaf Flow. 3 days of Moon Dance. Jump Back. Phantom Sword Dance. Monkey Flying Sun Slash. 5 Dunes. Dalian Bullet Technique. Elemental Disillusionment. Gangs Ho Ji. Strange Power. Bangshan Strike. Ah Lie. Can't beat it. Alright then. Bangshan Cracking Slash. Might Kai. Day Tiger. Wushin Chang Kick Naruto Vortex. Wind Escape. Spiral Hand Sword. Fire Escape. Spiral Hand Sword. Uchiha Sasuke. Thunder Done. Kirin. In the name of the Heavenly Emperor. The God of Thunder has descended. Judgment. Keywords of the novel. Fire Shadows 5 Watches Glass without pop-ups, Fire Shadows 5 Watches Glass TXT Complete Collection Download, Fire Shadows 5 Watches Glass Latest Chapter Reading. On the day of Chapter 1, I saw a weasel and went up. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the day of Chapter 1, I saw a weasel and went up on the weekend or something. The boy who played a few games but didn't ship them out decisively let his heavenly emperor stand on the street. And went for an activity. For the toxic milk powder in the hearts of the majority of players, the 12M optical broadband will still be a scam for the city warriors, and boys say they are about to lose love. So many votes have produced a een sword emos yeah, sigh, sure enough. It's still fun with mobile phones open a certain online storage and retrieve the notebook that was newly collected yesterday. Even if there is no orange in my life, I can tolerate it. Why don't I have a lovely sister in my life? The boy looked at the cute black cat Wugeng Liuli on his phone and couldn't help but ponder. And occasionally flipped the pages with his fingers. Son Yen, go to Arad, do you want to meet? Suddenly, a lewd voice came from the computer speaker. No appointment. Is your phone not fun enough or is your idol not good? Looking. What are you going to Arad for? The boy answered without hesitation, then shifted his gaze from his phone to his computer. Sure enough. The computer screen was pitch black. Is this being hacked? Second Olympics. The boy cursed softly, then reached out and unplugged the internet cable. I didn't come in through the internet. The lewd voice came from the computer speaker again. The boy frowned and looked impatiently at the socket, then directly unplugged the power. This bad temper, that. I don't use electricity. Even if the power cord is unplugged, the speaker is still working. The boy confirmed again. Yes, the computer and speaker cables were unplugged, but we don't have time, Son Yen, hurry up and get in the car. Shoo, shoo. The body of the abandoned house collapsed. A brave soul embarked on a strange journey. At night, the small village in the drizzle was unusually quiet. A naked figure slowly emerged from the air, then solidified, and finally fell to the ground. Splashing mud and water with a splash. Shwa shwa shwa. Upon hearing this subtle sound, 3 figures dressed in green vests immediately rushed over. Seeing only a little boy lying in the muddy water, the 3 of them breathed a slight sigh of relief. No chakra, flaccid muscles. He's a commoner. Is it the only one alive? I'll go find him some clothes, and you'll take him first. A ninja put the little boy on his shoulder and left with his companions first. The remaining person turned around and returned to the village, searching for an outfit for the little boy. The little boy's cheeks turned red with a crackling sound, as the temperature of the flames roasted him. At this moment, the little boy's eyes rolled and his fingers moved. Are you awake? The boy struggled to open his eyes and slowly sat up from the ground. After his slightly sour eyes got used to the environment, he saw a skinny uncle with a mustache. The uncle is wearing a green vest and a forehead guard engraved with a wooden leaf mark. Wood leaf forehead protection. I am a Konoha ninja, I saved you. A series of Japanese words burst out. Japanese. Wood leaves. What's your name? Asked the Konoha ninja. However, the boy was just in a daze. He seemed to remember looking at the notebook of the fifth watch glass, and then 5 o'clock glass. Sound. The boy recalled, whispering to himself. What? Wugeng Liuli. Are you a boy? How do you call that name? Uncle seemed to have heard something strange. The boy quietly cast his gaze towards you with a silly look at me, cough, all right, it's dawn, we should hurry on our way. Uncle changed the subject and extinguished the fire. 2 other Konoha ninjas wearing vests walked over. Let's go. Okay. The boy was lifted on his back and the group began to rush on. On the way. This child's name is Wugeng Liuli, said Uncle Ba-Zi-Hu on the road. We are only responsible for bringing him back to the village. The village has its own arrangements, Tanaka. Don't worry, said another ninja. If we had come earlier, maybe we could have saved the villagers from those bandits' henchmen, sighed Uncle Ba-Zi-Hu. This is his fate, the ninja said coldly. Wugeng Liuli turned her head to take a look and found that the eyes of the ninja were white. White-eyed. With good Japanese, Liuli couldn't help but speak while listening to their conversation. Fate. Liuli repeated lightly. Yes, fate, repeated the white-eyed ninja seriously. As the sky brightened slightly, Liuli looked at the birds flying in the forest and said softly. But even sparrows can fly against the wind. The white-eyed ninja fell into silence. The group rushed along at lightning speed, and no one spoke again. Kiba, 45 years old, the younger brother of the majority of fans, Shin Uchiha Itachi, is still a 3-year-old kid. On the streets of my village, 3-year-old Yuji Bo Itachi held hands with his parents one by one. Originally, a family of 3 were walking calmly on the street, but Uchiha Fuyue suddenly felt a gaze fixed on his family. Years of combat experience instantly confirmed the source of that gaze. A boy who was 1.2 meters tall. The boy crouched on the street, holding an unknown grass stem in his mouth. The boy has messy white hair and a pair of eyes staring at the family, or more accurately, at a 3-year-old weasel. Yuchibo Fuyue's sudden stop also caught the attention of Yuchibo Meichin and Itachi. Seeing that she had caught the attention of the family, Wugeng Liuli had no choice but to spit out something that looked like a dog-tail grass and greet her. Yujibo Fuyue saw the boy walking over and was still thinking to himself. Whose child is this? Is he here to find me? What is he going to do? Just as Wugeng Liuli and Yujibo Fuyue were getting closer, a tall and burly figure intervened. With a plump body, red hair on his head, and the word food on his clothes, one can guess from his appearance that he is a member of the Autumn Taoist constellation. It's the leader of the Fuyue tribe. Although the relationship may not be very good, Chiu Daoding still greeted Yujibo Fuyue. Upon hearing the words of Chiu Daoding's, Liuli could confirm that the child in front of her was Yujibo Itachi. Yujibo Fuyue was about to reply, yes. Hey. Uncle, you're blocking me. Wugeng Liuli's dissatisfied voice came from behind the Autumn Taoist Dingzhua. Autumn Daoding turned his head and saw a little ghost. He is a mild and chubby person, but it doesn't mean that even a little ghost can shout at him. Reaching out, holding onto the glazed collar, turning around, and putting it down. Just like a hanging tower, moving the fifth night glass from one side to the other, didn't you say I was blocking your way? Not now. Then the squinting little eyes signaled to him to get lost. Little eyes have eyes, but Liuli not only didn't get lost, but instead turned her gaze to behind Yuzhibo Fuyue and said again, "Hey. Uncle, you're blocking me." Yuzhibo Fuyue glanced at him and said, "Little ghost, what did you say?" Even at a casual glance, the Wugeng glass felt a chill on its back. As the head of the Uchiha clan, the elite Shangren and Uchiha Fuyue's casual gaze revealed a powerful aura that startled Liuli. Is this the aura of a master? Liuli is certain in her heart that she has decided, carefully bypassing Uchiha Fuyue. He glanced at Itachi and then looked at Uchiha Meichin. "Auntie, your son is so cute, ha ha ha," she said while grabbing the hair at the back of her head with one hand, looking a bit cramped. Itachi. Meow meow meow. Yuzhibo Meichin's gaze paused for a moment on Liuli's dirty little face, and then gently said, "Is there anything wrong, kid?" That. Liuli learned from Hinata, lowered her head, and tapped her 2 fingers, looking very embarrassed. Yuzhibo Meichin reached out and brushed open Liuli's hair in front of her forehead, her eyes gently staring straight at her. "What's going on, Liuli's heart rippled slightly as she blurted out, "Auntie, you're teasing me." A few people were taken aback, obviously not understanding what it meant. Liuli realized that if they knew the meaning of this sentence, they would definitely finish it, so she immediately changed the topic. "Auntie, do you have a daughter?" "Hey. Why do you ask this?" "Auntie only has one son," said Yuzhibomai. She picked up the weasel and gently placed her palm on its head. "Are you planning to have one, Auntie?" Liuli glanced at Itachi again and asked closely. "Itachi. Meow 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 meow. What's the title?" "You have the ability to recite it in front of me. You should know that with these 10 fists of my sword, you may die." End of this chapter. On the day of chapter 2, I saw a weasel and went up. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the day of chapter 2, I saw a weasel and went up. Are you planning to have one, Auntie? Create another one. Cluck. Yuzhibo's fist, which was the size of Fuyue's sandbag, made a series of explosions, and the terrifying momentum frightened Xiao Daoding, who silently took a few steps back. There is killing intent. Wugeng Liuli started running and left a sentence while running. "Forget it, I'll ask again in a few years." Yuzhibo Fuyue roared angrily, "Don't let me see you again, little ghost." Slightly lost his composure, Yuzhibo Fuyue calmed down, but an old farmer's anger still lingered in Yuzhibo Fuyue's heart. Where exactly does the anger of being cornered by a pig come from? Tell me, even though I haven't sowed the seeds yet. Yuzhibo Meichin chuckled and pulled Yuzhibo Fuyue's arm, saying, "All right, it's just a child." Yuzhibo Fuyue was still unhappy, But the 3-year-old Itachi was lost in thought. After running a few streets, Liuli slowed down and wandered among the crowd. He is waiting for the fish to take the bait. Just don't know if the weasel will take the bait. Although that little guy is only 3 years old, he is one of the representatives of precocious puberty. Yuzhibo Meichin didn't pay attention to those words just now because he was tactfully and implicitly praising her beauty. Yuzhibo Fuyue should not care after this while, after all, Liuli is just a child and he is very busy. But Itachi is just a child, even if he matures early, he definitely doesn't like this guy who dares to covet his future sister, even if he doesn't have a sister. The possibility is less than a layer, it feels like it. Liuli sighed. He was looking forward to the weasel coming to trouble him, so he had several ways to deceive some basic knowledge from the weasel, such as the extraction of chakras, but what if Itachi is high and cold? It seems very likely. Sigh, can we only go to the orphanage to try our luck? Wugeng Liuli is a traveler from Earth, and in the world of Hokage, she is a survivor of a village destroyed by bandits. The passing Konoha ninja picked him up, but was unwilling to take him in. Yes, the three ninja uncles in the same group are not willing to take in the orphan Wugeng Liuli. Liuli saw this on the road, so he had to figure out a solution on his own. Otherwise, he would have to wait for those three ninja uncles to finish their tasks and come back to find him, probably arranging which orphanage he would go to. Ah, it's really troublesome. I don't know how many orphanages there are in Kiba. Liuli only remembers a person named Yao Shirinayu, whose orphanage has hope of learning ninjutsu. Perhaps this name is unfamiliar to everyone, but she adopted a child who later became very famous called Pharmacist Do. She is a ninja, if I remember correctly, it is the root of the Wood Leaf Pot King group. If Liuli goes to her orphanage, there is still hope to learn ninjutsu. 4 other orphanages. Then it's only up to luck. Why does Liuli want to learn ninjutsu? Because, as a humanities student, I don't know how to build airplanes or cannons at all. A plane. What's that thing? A thin uncle with a mustache jumped off the house. Shwa shwa. 2 figures followed closely as they landed. Tanaka, this little guy is up to you. Let's go first. Shwa shwa. The 2 ninjas stood up and down, their gaze not lingering on Liuli for an extra second. Come with me, little devil, Tanaka Shinichi said. Where are we going? Go see the person you want to adopt. Tanaka Jini took a few steps but found that Liuli had not kept up. Liuli stood in place, muttering, if I had known to go find Emperor Kai, I would have fallen in love with the Itachi god. If it were Emperor Kai, it would have been much easier to deceive. Let's go, little devil. The other person is pretty good, but she's a girl from old age and wants a son who can take care of her daughter. Otherwise, you think a child as big as you would be either. Tanaka Jini thought that Liuli was facing the fear and concern of her new parents, so she explained a few more words. The other party's family sells meatballs, so you'll have some good luck in the future. Tanaka Shinichi thought he had some good news and gave a, you understand, look. Ah. I don't like sweets. No, I don't want to be adopted. Liuli said displeased. Tanaka Shinichi is also unhappy. Although there is no war now, as an orphan, it is your blessing to find such a good adoptive family for you. There is room for you to pick and choose. I wanted to have a home back then, but not yet well, so he decisively used the Hokage-style standard education method, bang. There's a big bump on my head. Damn it. I curse you for eating instant noodles without seasoning in your lifetime. Liuli covered her head and cursed. I don't eat that thing again, Tanaka Shinichi shrugged, indicating that I didn't care at all. Then I curse you for living 100 years. Sigh. Is this also considered a curse? I will grow old alone and never find a girlfriend in my life. Can't find a girlfriend and still live 100 years. This is really Tanaka Shinichi fell into silence and finally raised his fist. Sigh, it's boring, let's go. Seeing signs of Tanaka Shinichi getting rough again, Ryuri said, let's start with some hesitation. As for the adoption family, let's talk about it later. After all, there must be a way for the car to reach the mountain, and a ship hitting a bridge will inevitably sink. Tanaka Shinichi quickly followed suit and said, I'm going the wrong way, this way. Oh. This child is really not likable. But, like myself, this child is an orphan from another village. In the future, let's take care of him more. Tanaka Shinichi still didn't listen to his Hinata family teammate. He's just such a person, he can't change, and he doesn't want to change either. As an orphan from another village, he has experienced the unfriendly surroundings since childhood. Perhaps it would be better not to become a ninja. Tanaka Shinichi recalled some unpleasant experiences. Uncle, where do you live at home? What do you want to do? I'll come find you to learn ninjutsu when I have time. At an advanced age, what kind of ninjutsu is learning? Isn't it good to be an ordinary person? I'm only 12 years old. Yeah, even ninja schools don't accept you at this age. Rest assured to be an ordinary person, Ninja World. It's not as good as you imagine. Thank you very much for your care, Uncle. I'm only 24 years old, don't keep calling me Uncle, it looks old. Che, they are both twice my age and not old, they are a whole generation older than me. Where did you get older? Did you get married and have children at the age of 12? Can't you do it? I think I have this ability completely, laughs. Why do I think you know so much, you little child? Because I am an old driver. Internally, this is all what an author named Zelaya said in the book, hehe. Hey. Zelaya adults. Author. But with Zelaya adults' personality, it seems really possible. Do you want to tell Hokage adults? It feels like it's endangering the next generation of Kiba. Hehe, if Zelaya's little yellow book is gone, you will definitely be beaten up by more than 3,000 single men, so you need to consider carefully. Really? By the way. It seems like a few more years before the Intimate Paradise comes out. Did I say something wrong? What are you saying? I didn't hear you clearly. It's nothing, let's go quickly. What about me? Author. Who are you? Tanaka and Hinata's teammates. Author. Sigh. Is there this person? Tiger Seal. The mysterious meaning of woodleaf body technique. Millennium Kill. Stop it. No tickets, no readers, no comments. Where can I find your name? You know how painful it is to find a name. Trust you this time, I'll come again next time. If I don't have a name yet. You'll be dead. End of this chapter. On the day of chapter 3, I saw a weasel and went up. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the day of chapter 3, I saw a weasel and went up. By the way, there's something that needs to be clarified first. As he approached his destination, Tanaka Jini stopped and said with a serious expression. What's up? I saw Tanaka Shinichi's serious expression. Liuli couldn't help but guess. Is he ready to teach me ninjutsu? This can be available. Boss Xiangtu Shinwu is my good friend. Due to the fact that our family runs a shop, our family's conditions are relatively good, so. Oh, it's not about preaching ninjutsu. Liuli suddenly lost the motivation to listen and lazily said, so. So what? Isn't it just opening a meatball shop? I still have a hotel in my home on Earth. So put away your indifferent attitude. Shinichi Tanaka switched to roar mode. Do you know that this is very impolite, especially if you don't show any knowledge beyond your age group? You will scare others, understand? Old drivers are fearless. Although Liuli really wants to say that, just give him face for the sake of bringing him back to Konoha by Tanaka Shinichi. After wiping off the saliva that sprayed on her face, Liuli raised her hand and promised, I understand. I will be very polite and won't tell any vulgar jokes. That's good. Seeing the guarantee of Liuli, Tanaka Shinichi finally brought Liuli into a meatball shop with peace of mind. At this time, there aren't many customers in the store, only 2 tables. However, both tables are ninjas, as can be seen from the wooden leaf protectors they wear on their foreheads or tie to their arms. Liuli is actually very interested in ninjas and occasionally peeks. Tanaka Shinichi and the shop owner, a middle-aged man with a prominent belly, greeted and chatted, and their eyes vigorously greeted Liuli. Liuli found an empty table and lay quietly on it, scanning back and forth in the meatball shop. After talking to the boss for a few words, Tanaka Shinichi walked into the inner hall and soon brought out a woman and a little girl. Liuli noticed the situation here and guessed that this was a friend of Tanaka Shinichi, the owner of a meatball shop named Kazuki Shingo and his family. A family of 3 all have black hair, and I take the fragrance carefully. My body is slightly overweight, and my belly is obvious. His wife is clearly a template of a virtuous wife and mother, and his daughter is probably only about 3 years old, slightly shorter than the weasel she just saw. Tanaka Shinichi waved, gesturing for Liuli to pass by. Shinwu, from now on Liuli will rely on you, Tanaka Shinichi said, but Kazuki Shinwu's expression was a bit hesitant. Have you encountered a situation? It seems that Shinichi Tanaka's popularity is not as good as I imagined, Liuli thought. Jinny, is this child really 12 years old? Shinwu looked at Wugeng Liuli, who was only 1.2 meters old, and asked. A 12-year-old child should be around 1.4 meters tall to be normal, right? Maybe it's because Liuli's family conditions were not very good before, and her physical development didn't keep up, explained Tanaka Shinichi as she looked at Liuli, who was dry and thin. At this moment, Liuli is still wearing the clothes that Tanaka Shinichi gave him early, and her thin body still has the dirt left by falling into the mud and water last night. What a pitiful child. Katsuko Katsui's wife, Katsuko Katsue, sympathized with Ryuri's plight, but the family matters still had to be decided by Katsuko Katsue. At this moment, Kazuki Shingo also has a headache. As someone in his 30s but only has one daughter, he is also very anxious in his heart. But what is the solution? He has been married to Jizi for 10 years, not because he didn't work hard to sew, but because his body made it difficult for him to have children. Later, my wife finally became pregnant and had a daughter. I wanted to have another one. Well, I have been working hard until now. Occasionally, I have told my friends that I want to have another son, one son and one daughter, so it would be perfect. As a result, my old friend Tanaka Shinichi didn't know if his mind had been beaten, so he sent him one, hoping to adopt him. Damn it. I said I want a son because I want to have a good son. Laozi said that if he wants a son, he can take care of the store and take care of his daughter. That's just a hypothesis. Isn't it natural for a boy to take care of a girl? It doesn't necessarily have to be old. Anyway, he doesn't want to adopt an older boy. As a result, Tanaka had a 12-year-old boy who came straight to him for adoption. With such a friend. I really thank you. You're still thinking of bringing me a son after completing the mission. Kazuki Shingo thinks that he and his wife should be able to work harder, maybe they will have a son next year. As for this child, then we can only say sorry. Liuli looked directly at Shinwu and saw a sense of firmness and decisiveness in his eyes. Sure enough, I'm sorry, Jinny. Maybe you misunderstood what I meant. Shinwu felt a bit sorry. What? Shinichi Tanaka had a bad premonition. I may not be able to help you with this matter, Shinwu continued. Let me talk, Liuli interjected. It's better for him to speak instead of casting a shadow over their relationship. Anyway, he doesn't want to be adopted and had no intention of being adopted from the beginning. Let's forget about finding our own parents. My name is Wugeng Liuli, and besides, I don't want to be adopted. I'm sorry, Liuli-jun, Shinwu was surprised before realizing, no, I believe I can live a good life anywhere, Liuli said indifferently. Just now I may need a job to solve food and accommodation issues. Then come to my store, I happen to be planning to hire a clerk, Shinwu said. For a discerning little guy like Liuli, his feeling is still good, and it happens that his store also needs an assistant. Thank you very much, Uncle Shinwu. After solving the problem of food and accommodation, Liuli bowed slightly and said, My name is Wugeng Liuli. Please take good care of me in the future. If you say you are polite, you must be polite. Liuli is a person who keeps his word. Then there was a luncheon, welcoming the addition of Ryuri, with both guests and guests enjoying themselves. Well, except for Shinichi Tanaka. Tanaka really just wants to say that Laozite is still naive. Why did he go from adopting to hiring a buddy? Is it really good for you to become so fast and still have such a tacit understanding? Could you please make an extra copy of the script for me next time I change it temporarily? After lunch, Shinichi Tanaka left first. As a ninja, even if it's just a medium ninja, he's still very busy and has tasks in the afternoon. It should be the third ninja world war now, I'm not sure if it's about to be fought or if it's already started. After lunch, Liuli, who had been washed up, changed into a new set of clothes and added a small apron. What a running errand kid. Just received a few tables of guests, and Liuli said that this kind of work is a piece of cake, and he is fully capable of it. Shenwu and Jizi saw that Liuli had easily received the guests without any nervousness or mistakes, so they felt relieved. Taking advantage of the absence at this moment, the two of them ran off to whisper. New big brother, can you accompany Xiangji to play with the flipping rope? Xiangji, the daughter of Xiangji Shenwu, is 3 years old this year. Seeing Liuli, who was stunned and lost in thought, the cute little Lulixiang weaved the thread of a flower flipping rope and asked. Looking at the store, it seems to be quiet in the afternoon with few customers. But Liuli still doesn't want to play childish games like flipping flower ropes. It's possible to play with you, but I don't know how to do it. Liuli spread out her hand and said, it's not that I don't want to play with you, it's just that I don't know how to do it. It's not my fault. Xiangji can teach you. Xiaoyulai said that this is not a problem at all. Liuli. Then everyone started playing with flipping rope, big and small. Brother, are you 12 years old? Xiangji asked. Really? Little Loli seemed a bit skeptical. The second brother next door is also 12 years old, but... Little Loli glanced at Liuli's head. He is much taller than you. He is much taller than you. Much higher, a knowing blow. Puff. Unless his brother is Emperor Tai, it's best not to fall into my hands. Liuli cursed softly. Brother, what did you say? Oh, it's nothing, I said I'm really 12 years old. It's really 0.12 years old. Liuli looked at a data frame that had been appearing in front of her for a long time since she woke up from crossing over. Name. Wugeng Liuli. Age. 12 level. 0, data not available, attempting to reconnect, please wait. I'm 12 years old. Wugeng Liuli. What? At 12 years old, only 1.2 meters. Author. It will grow taller soon. Wugeng Liuli said, okay, trust you once. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. The Left Hand Invaded by Ghosts and Gods. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. The Left Hand Invaded by Ghosts and Gods. This small semi-transparent information box suddenly appeared when he was being taken on his way, but Liuli has always been a calm person, so he did not speak up. Moreover, he also had some speculations about the reason for his sudden appearance in the world of Hokage. In fact, he didn't make any other speculations except for the voice that invited him to Arad before. Just how did it get to Hokage instead of Arad? Did you go to the wrong set? Attempting to reconnect, please wait. Liuli wanted to explore more information, but it seems that this thing is disconnected. The afternoon at the meatball shop is relatively free, and it wasn't until late afternoon that it started to get busy. This small peak of passenger flow is mostly composed of ninjas and adults with children. Perhaps the ninjas also finished work after school, Liuli guessed. Not a single person who looks familiar. Liuli observed whether there were any familiar characters among the guests while entertaining them. As a result, there were several waves of guests coming and going, but none of them met the familiar ones. Isn't there someone named Yusho Zaihongdu who really likes to eat meatballs? Why didn't he come? Liuli hopes to see more characters who have appeared in the original Hokage novel. Isn't it because her teacher, Orochimaru, took her to train? Did Hongdo graduate this year? Did she graduate? Didn't she graduate? Sigh, I can't remember clearly. In her spare time, Liuli began to daydream again. Almost done, that's all for today, Uncle Shenwu said. The sky has been dark for a long time without realizing it, and there have been no guests coming for a while. Okay. Liuli immediately went to help tidy up, and it was necessary to be diligent. After dinner, Aunt Jeezy prepared a bed for Liuli and officially declared the end of the first day of contact between Liuli and the Xiang family. In the room, Shenwu and Jeezy were talking. Liuli's performance today is quite good. Shenwu took a sip of tea, a very sensible child, perhaps because something like that happened in his own village, so he is much more mature than ordinary children. Tanaka Shinichi told them that the other people in Liuli village were all killed by bandits, leaving only Liuli alone. Go buy 2 sets of clothes for Liuli tomorrow. Well, good. But at this moment, Liuli is lying in bed, quietly waiting for what is in front of her. Attempting to reconnect, please wait. I don't know when it will be able to reconnect, and it seems that there isn't much nightlife in the world of Hokage. Either, it's not something he can enjoy now. So Liuli had to daydream. Unconsciously, Liuli began to consider who to go to learn ninjutsu and play with. Coming to the world of Hokage without learning some ninjutsu or making meatballs was really a waste of time. Connection failed, activate emergency mode. Finally, the words in front of me changed. Liuli is also a spiritual shock, is it about to appear? What is the emergency mode? Name. Wugeng Liuli, a row of text appears. Age. 12, I know, and then what? Level. 1, Psi. Is this going from level 0 to level 1? Occupation. Please choose occupation. Subsequently, the interface rotated and a plethora of game characters appeared in front of Liuli. 90 level Heavenly Emperor, Sword God, Emperor Blood Kills Heaven, Dark Sovereign, Seizing the Wings of Heaven, Annihilation Eye, Eternal Moment, Blood Prison Count. 86th level Sword Emperor, Storm Cavalry, Moon Shadow Star Robbery, Unknown Fire, Obsidian God, Holy Martial Spear Soul, Immortal War Soul. 85 level Nyen Di, Freya, Elemental Spirit, Eclipse, Justice Mediator, Divine Thinker, Poison God Ju, Jiwu Emperor, Storm Queen, Mechanical Leader, Ista War Spirit, Ancient Spirit Ghost, Undead Lord, Netherworld, Dark Emperor, Godslayer, True Dragon Star Lord, Immortal, Wind God, Chaotic Walker. 50 level Starlight and 2 spin-off characters, Dark Warrior and Creator. The rest are characters below level 50. Liuli's eyelids twitched. Besides not having an ID, it feels like the character on my account. The main player's account has been upgraded to level 90, and the rest is mostly waiting at 85. I plan to practice slowly when I have time. Of course, the main reason is laziness. And, look at the fashion, especially the one with the same underwear as the Dark Emperor. Alright, this must be my number. Liuli finally confirmed that this was his number, right? If you want to choose a profession, Liuli reached out and tapped the level 90 Heavenly Emperor. The bridge is full of horses. Why don't I order male demons? The male demon's self-resurrection seems to be quite tricky. And the Heavenly Emperor is blind, right? After Liuli clicked on the icon of the Heavenly Emperor, all character icons disappeared completely. A sharp pain hit from her left hand, and Liuli widened her eyes and sat up suddenly from the bed. Crash, the cold metal creation wrapped around the left hand of the glass. Poo-poo, Liuli fell back onto the bed again, but this time she was unconscious. Name. Wugeng Liuli, age. 12, level. 1, occupation. Ghost Swordsman. Ah. Liuli woke up and repeatedly glimmers of light were casting into the room from outside the window. Being able to see daylight indicates I didn't become blind. Oh. That's great. Last night, I was quick-witted and chose the Heavenly Emperor. When the sharp pain on her arm came, Liuli thought she was going to finish and become blind. The Heavenly Emperor is very strong, able to perceive fluctuations and has a keen eye. But unfortunately, he is blind. If it's possible to reselect, Liuli said she wants to choose a male demon because she has a resurrection skill from the beginning, so she can't accept it. Opening the blanket and getting up, Liuli only felt a faint pain in her left arm. What is this? A steel wrist guard, with one end wrapped around the arm and the other end locked around the wrist, and an iron chain wrapped in the middle. And Liuli's left hand has turned a eerie dark red. Is this the seal of ghost hands and suppressing ghosts and gods? Seeing the iron chain wrapped around her arm, Liuli thought of the ghost swordsman. Among the swordsmen of Arad, there is a peculiar symptom of ghost hands that require the use of iron chains to suppress the invasion of ghosts and gods. And this is also the origin of a major profession in dungeons. Ghost swordsman. And the attitude towards ghost hand is also transformed into different job transfers in the game. The sword soul is determined to resist the influence of ghostly hands and is enthusiastic about practicing swordsmanship. Azura is the one who hones his will with the pain of his ghostly hands. A crazy warrior who drives himself crazy with pain. The ghost sobbing that controls the ghost hand. The first two use the ghost hand as a sharpening stone to sharpen oneself, while the last two utilize the power of the ghost hand. Reaching out a ghostly hand, holding it tightly, facing the sunrise from the window. Watching the sunlight seeping out from between the ghostly fingers, Liuli somehow remembered a line from the game. From the day my hands were invaded by ghosts and gods. My life has changed. Author. Every warrior should have played Ghost Swordsman. Of course, I would like to say that the vast majority of people have a red eye. Liuli. No problem, end of this chapter. Chapter 5. The Left Hand Invaded by Ghosts and Gods. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. The left hand invaded by ghosts and gods. Has the glass risen yet? Aunt Jeezy's voice rang outside the door. Oh no. Liuli looked around and saw that the clothes were short-sleeved, so she couldn't help but curse inwardly, second Olympian. In fact, even long sleeves are useless unless he can wrap his palms and fingers with bandages, otherwise the red ghost hand will be difficult to avoid attracting others' attention. So, now there's no other way to keep the ghost hands from being discovered besides getting into bed. Immediately, Liuli replied loudly, as she pinched her brows in agony after finishing neatly. Liuli sighed and opened the door. I can't hide for a while, I can't hide for a lifetime, especially in the world of ninjas. Even if I run away, I can't escape. The entrance of my village is not easy to enter and exit casually. After all, it seems like I only have level 1. It would be great if I had the strength of the attaché who joined the Shao organization. I won't hesitate to enter and exit my dozens of times. A pair of kaleidoscopes staring at who is pregnant. However, it seems that I only have level 1 and don't even have a skill to say, annoying. Even if he impersonates blood to awaken the limit, what should he do with the seal of the ghost hand? Liuli also felt restless in her heart. If there are only ghost hands, you can still impersonate blood to follow the awakening of the limit, but what about the chains on the ghost hands? That is the seal that suppresses the power of ghosts and gods. If you don't transfer to become Ghost Cry and master the ability to use the power of ghosts and gods to unlock the seal, it seems like you will be invaded by ghosts and gods, right? Liuli can't remember very clearly, but if you break the seal hastily, nothing good will happen. But whose bloodline carries its own seal after the awakening of the limits? The possibility of Liuli being used as a spy for other villages is very high. As you can imagine, the mountain clan with its own soul-searching evil special effects welcomes you to the interrogation room. The Indun secret soul-searching package can make you feel so refreshed even without 998. Damn it, if only I could have a second sleep now. I guess my strength is not inferior to that of Hokage, or I could have a warlord on the Hornet. Otherwise, there are still many dolls in the warehouse. and even a group of Forrest Gump and Ruins girls can walk horizontally in the ninja world. The familiar sound effect of opening the warehouse treasure box. The colorful items suddenly blinded the glass's eyes. Is this Laozi's Terra Stone Warehouse? The warehouse of the Heavenly Emperor? Liuli was first startled, then calmed down, but couldn't help but have a wild smile at the corner of her mouth. After Kazuoki here called on Liuli to wake up, she went to prepare something for her to wash up. After getting ready, I came over and saw Liuli leaning against the door frame, giggling foolishly. What is this child laughing at so early in the morning? Auntie has prepared the toiletries for you, go ahead. Ah. As Jeezy walked in, Liuli's eerie crimson ghostly hand caught his eye. At first sight, Jeezy was frightened and took several steps back. Your hands. Liuli glanced at her ghostly hand and said, ah, it's mutated. Mutation. Jeezy clearly didn't quite understand and said with concern, why don't we go to the hospital and see? Hospitals. Is it a ninja hospital where doctors use cactus techniques to treat injuries? Liuli suddenly became interested and said, okay. After washing up and finishing breakfast, only Jeezy accompanied Liuli to the hospital. Shenwu took Xiangji to purchase ingredients. Originally, Jeezy was going to take Liuli to buy 2 sets of clothes, but now he has to go to the hospital due to Liuli's ghostly hands. Walking on my street, passers-by cast surprised gazes at Liuli. That child's hand. How terrifying. What kind of thing is that? It feels like it's been peeled off. Upon hearing the undisguised comments of passers-by, Jeezy felt worried for Liuli, worried that he would not be able to withstand the comments of others. However, Liuli was enjoying the discussions of passers-by with a curious attitude. Saying that the treatment and battles enjoyed by Naruto were much more terrifying than this, after all, others only talked about Liuli, and that was full of malice towards Naruto. Shwa 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 shwa. 3 figures jumped down from the house, surrounding Liuli and Jeezy. The 3 of them are all wearing white animal masks, and since this is my street, one can guess their identities. The Dark Side. Assassination Tactical Special Forces, abbreviated as the Secret Forces. The Dark Department is usually led directly by the Shadow, but for Kiba. In addition to the Dark Department of Hokage, there are also 3 generations of Hokage Monkey Flying Sun who cut off the roots of the leader of Kiyoshi Village's group, dressed the same. Your purpose, said a secret agent. Let's go to the hospital, Jeezy answered cautiously. Is it a hospital? Go ahead. The 3 shadows dispersed. Oh, good. Jeezy immediately accelerated his pace with Liuli to the hospital. 3 dark parts were running on the roof, one made a few gestures, the other nodded, and then headed in the other direction. The other 2 dark parts followed Jeezy and Liuli towards the hospital on the roof. Strange red arms. 3rd generation Fire Shadow Ape Flying Sun slashed his pipe twice. The standby Dark Department continued, the target is currently heading to the hospital, and the most important thing is that there is something similar to a seal on the target's arm. However, we cannot identify what seal it is, so please ask Lord Hokage for instructions on the next action. Unknown seal. Ape Flying Sun put down his pipe. If sealed, the most harmful thing to the village is undoubtedly the seal that seals the tail beast. If the seal is opened inside the village and the tail beast is released, the damage caused to the wooden leaves is equivalent to a major defeat on the front battlefield. But there shouldn't be a village that's so foolish as to throw the tail beast into another village. Not to mention the surge in hatred, how can you recycle the tail beast? Tail beasts are not disposable items. What is the identity of the target? Monkey Flying asked. The identity of the woman following the target can be determined to be Katsuko, the owner of the meatball shop, while the target's identity is only known to be named Wugeng Liuli. She is an orphan who returned from Nakano Tanaka's area yesterday. After a moment of silence, the Dark Department continued, my shadow clone has already informed Tanaka Shinichi and he will arrive soon. Well, gather 2 more dark teams to secretly monitor the target. Also, let Lu Jiu come see me. Ape Fei ordered. Yes. The dark side has retreated and gone to execute the orders of Hokage. In no time, Nara Kazuki and Tanaka Shinichi arrived. Lord Huiying. Ape Fei put down the document in his hand. Jinny, yesterday your team was on a mission and when you came back, you brought a child, right? Tell me about that child situation. Upon hearing that Lord Hokage was asking about a child situation, although it was a bit rare, Shinichi Tanaka quickly reported on his situation after completing the task. Itachi. Who is staring at who is pregnant? Are you sure you're referring to my eyes? Author. That's right, reading for a month can knock people down, but it's not like doing whatever you want. Itachi. What do men do? Author. You can first send it to Orochimaru to change your personality, and then he. Itachi. Get lost. I don't know you as a pervert, end of this chapter. Chapter 6. The Left Hand Invaded by Ghosts and Gods. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. The Left Hand Invaded by Ghosts and Gods. At that time, we heard a commotion and went over to check, only to find that the glass was poured into the muddy water. So, was his body abnormal at that time? Did he have a seal on his hand? Asked Ape Fei. Abnormal. No, it's not. My teammate Hinata Hiroshi looked at it with his eyes, and he didn't have any chakras at all. Moreover, his body was completely like a child, with loose muscles and an untrained appearance. Nara Deer has heard this for a long time, and with his high intelligence, he has roughly figured out what the situation is. A child who was brought back to my seemed to have suddenly developed a physical condition with a seal on his arm. If Hinata's eyes have seen it, it indicates that the child did not actually have chakra before. But now it has been discovered that there is a seal on the arm, which is very likely that the seal was applied during the period inside the wood leaf. As for the purpose of the seal, it is currently unknown. This is the information just compiled. Lu Jiu, take a look. Ape Fei handed over a copy of the information. Looking at the information from Lu Jiu, there is very little information about the Wugeng glass. The most valuable one is a photo just taken. In the photo, there is a boy with white hair, his left arm is eerie crimson, and an unknown iron chain and metal wrist guard are firmly attached to it, with some peculiar runes faintly visible. This seal. I haven't seen it before. The SEAL team is still searching for information, said Ape Fei. Well, this type of seal is very different from common seals, and it's probably difficult to find information. Although Lu Jiu is not a talent specializing in sealing techniques, as a wise person, it is inevitable to have extensive knowledge however, the art style of this seal seems to be disconnected from the whole world, okay. Lu Jiu said he has no impression at all. You go investigate what happened to this child's seal. Yes. What kind of person is that child? Lu Jiu and Jin rushed to the hospital. That's a little devil with a bad personality. Tanaka Shinichi blurted out. However, after thinking for a moment, Shinichi Tanaka added, anyway, he's not a normal child. Tell me more about it. Okay. At that time, Hong said, this is fate, but the little ghost saw a bird flying out of the forest and said, even sparrows can fly against the wind. I said I wanted to tell Lord Hokage about writing that kind of book, but he said if I told Lord Hokage about it, I would definitely be beaten up by many single men. After listening to Tanaka Shinichi's description, Kazuki only felt, it's troublesome. This is very likely not an ordinary little ghost. If it's not an ordinary person, then what is his purpose for entering Kiba? Thinking of the seal on his arm, Lu Jiu always has a bad premonition. However, there shouldn't be too much of a problem, after all, there's that adult present. In the My Hospital, Liuli saw an adult. A familiar, big person. It's not a bad thing that she's the largest tree leaf, and there's no problem with the 36E hard face of Sana. But just thinking about it, I can't say it. And your face should be calm enough, don't act too low. Master Gangsho. A secret agent quickly explained the situation in Gangsho's ear. Golden-haired and creamy breasts, red beans and cinnabar between the eyebrows. Oh no, it's the diamond-shaped seal of the hand, waving casually after listening to the report from the dark side. Aha, I got it. It's just a little kid. What's the trouble? Then he said to Liuli, come with me. Oh. After following Gangsho, Liuli immediately had a dark side approaching Jizi. We are the direct subordinates of Lord Hokage's Dark Department, and there are some situations that we need to learn from you. No problem. Liuli was taken into a room by Gangsho. Gangsho spread out a scroll on the table and said, sit down, put your hands up. Liuli sat on the stool and put her left hand on it. What's the use of this scroll? Liuli asked. Children don't need to know so much, said the ghost's hand, who was carefully observing it. If you tell me, I'll tell you a secret. Liuli finally saw a familiar original character, so he wanted to play with Gangsho. You first tell me what the secret is, and then I'll tell you what scroll it is. Gangsho raised his head and sneered disdainfully. She thinks she can show off her intelligence. Okay, I'll tell you this secret first, Liuli said happily. The secret is. You are Kafu fate, destined to die alone. Ha ha ha. The unrestrained smile pierced into Gangsho's heart like a sharp blade, and the death of Xingshu and Kato Duan was an eternal pain in her heart. But Gangsho remained calm, and that anger was suppressed by her. If you're trying to provoke me, you've succeeded, but before I beat you up, let's talk about what's going on with your seal. Bang! Gangsho directly pressed down on Liuli's left hand, and the solid wood tabletop was visibly sunken. Ah! Pain, pain, pain. Liuli couldn't help but cry out in pain, but she couldn't break free from the immense strength of her grasp. Seal, where did it come from? Gangsho exudes a majestic aura, his robe moves automatically without wind, and at the same time, he adds a touch of strength to his hand. Ah. You're going to die, you're going to die. Liuli couldn't break free, so she suddenly called out to Gang with her right hand. Forrest Gump, beat her up for me. There are hidden weapons. Gangsho took a closer look. Sigh. Reaching out and grabbing, a black-haired boy doll was grabbed by Gangsho. Gangsho. Liuli. I'll change it. Go ahead, Ruin's girl. So Gangsho had another girl doll in his hand. Gangsho. Liuli. The atmosphere suddenly became awkward. Gangsho thought to himself, alas, what's wrong with me and a child who only knows how to play with dolls? Liuli thought to herself, it's dog days now, why are dolls useless? After I finish pretending, who will wipe my butt? Pills and pills. Gangsho withdrew his hand, and Liuli was finally able to retrieve it. Gangsho sat down again, holding a puppet in one hand. Is this boy named Forrest Gumpswa and the girl named Rui Maiden? Gungata asked. Later, without waiting for Liuli's answer, he said to himself, what a strange name. Little ghost, your ability to name is really poor. Forrest Gump is a swordsman. If you say that, he'll be careful if he retaliates against you in the future, said Liuli. Sword Saint. And what about this girl? What is the name of the ruins girl? Did Sword Saint Forrest Gump encounter a girl in a ruins during his adventure? What a terrible story. Gungata said with a venomous tongue. She could already imagine the scene where the child in front of her was holding two dolls and creating a Cliché AD storyline. Author. Yo. I think I can write a notebook about Forrest Gump and the Ruins girl. Aganzo. Did you see the giant sword in my hand? If you didn't write it, you would be dead. Ruin girl. Damn it. The Fist of Gaboga. Boom author. Ah. You cheated, the female mechanical worker would punch Gaboga for Mao. Ruins girl. Hee hee, there's also this. Big mana. Author. Ha. What are you calling mom for? Aganzo. Run quickly. There's a quantum bomb. Boom, end of this chapter. Chapter 7. Crisis. My eyes are fixed on the future. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Crisis. My eyes are fixed on the future. Gangsho looked at the two dolls in her hand and felt that she might have found the wrong direction on this issue. What does a little kid playing with dolls know? So she changed the question and said, "Hey, kid, how did you get this thing in your hand?" Liuli said truthfully, "I didn't have it yesterday, but when I woke up, I suddenly had it." "You didn't lie to me, did you?" Gangsho questioned. "To be honest, I don't want this kind of thing to happen." Liuli shrugged and said she was also very helpless. Humph. Gangsho snorted coldly at the seal of Liuli, and then grabbed the seal on the ghost's hand with both hands. "This thing can be opened, right?" said Gangsho with a flick of his finger. Click. The metal wrist guard that locked the ghost's hand loosened. Liuli stared blankly at Gangsho as he opened the seal of Guaisho with a lightning-fast and clanging sound. Later, Liuli said with a heart-wrenching pain, "As a girl, can't you be a little more delicate? Who learned this kind of bare child style without saying a word?" Gangsho shrugged nonchalantly and said, "I can feel the evil power in your arms, but it's not too strong either." Not too strong. Liuli was speechless. Damn it. I'm currently at a low level, you'll know when I wake up. Subsequently, a violent thought struck Liuli's consciousness, and a layer of blood red covered Liuli's sight. The red light in Liuli's eyes turns into mist, drifting into the wind along the corner of her eyes, with its own evil transformation effect. Gangsho saw the red light coming out of Liuli's eyes and pinched his fingers with a clattering sound, saying, "Oh, not bad." Ah. Liuli waved her fist towards Gangsho. Pop. Gangsho firmly grabbed Liuli's fist with one hand and said, "Not bad, it can be compared to the endurance of refined physical training techniques." Then he charged forward on the side, turned around, and struck a hand knife at Liuli's neck. Click. Lock the seal back onto the glass arm. Liuli's eyes turned white and she fell soft. Is it a kind of bloodline transcending the limits? Or an evil human body transformation? Gangsho's eyes trembled, and then picked up the glass. Outside, Lujio summarized the information he received from Kazuoko and Shinichi Tanaka, inferring that there was no other game except for the conclusion that the target, Wugeng Liuli, should have happened last night. Next, we can only wait until we see the target. Nara Kashihisa was thinking like this, and Tsunade opened the door and walked out. Throwing the glass to Lujio, Tsunade said, "I didn't ask for anything useful, and I don't know this seal either. But just now I did a test and found that this child has an evil force in his arm that can disturb his mind, and the function of this seal should be to suppress this evil force." "Did you just do a test?" Lujio spoke up and said, "In that case, let's leave it to us for interrogation." Gangsho glanced at Liuli and said, But I guess this little ghost doesn't know anything. The seal on his body is not something that ordinary people can arrange." "Well, if it's a big deal, let the people of the mountain tribe search their memories to see if this child is innocent," said Lujio. Liuli suddenly shivered and woke up. "I seem to hear someone say bad things about me." Liuli's head was a bit confused. Lujio said, "Well, that's right, we're just saying bad things about you." Liuli shook her head, trying to clear her mind. "Yo! Isn't this Lomaru? When did you grow a beard?" Seeing the iconic pineapple hairstyle, Liuli thought it was Lomaru. Nara deer on the wooden leaf has been enduring for a long time, little ghost. I think we should have a good conversation. Lu Jiu stared at Liuli with his rigorous expression on his face and wise eyes. Liuli rubbed her temples with both hands, feeling a bit dizzy, so she spoke without hesitation. Let's talk about it. Actually, I've been wanting to ask you about your son finding a woman older than him to be his wife. What do you, as a father, think? Gangzhou left directly and said, I'll leave this little ghost to you. Tanaka Shinichi. Sigh. Does Lord Kazuki have a son now? Surrounding shadows. I just smiled and didn't speak. Nara deer fell silent for a while and said. I don't have a child yet. And? What do you mean by saying, you've always wanted to ask me? Do you know me? Do you know, Lomaru's father? Liuli saw several masked shadows around her and felt Mom, take juju pills. Why don't dolls work? Why? If I could let the doll play with Chongmen, I could kill it for you. Lomaru's father. Nara Lujio felt that this title was somewhat heavy, making Lujio wonder if he had any illegitimate children left behind. But on second thought, what a young old man. Where did you come from, son? Why are you getting married? He even found a woman older than him. Surprisingly, he found a woman older than him. This is really it's all burlap bags. I don't have a son at all. What is this little ghost talking about? Lu Jiu regained his senses and saw Liuli's fingers scratching in the air. What are you doing? Find something. Liuli replied. Lu Jiu said, But Liuli is indeed looking for something. Insufficient level. I can't believe that none of my hero epic legends can be equipped. I just realized that there are special level requirements for casting dolls. It's really amazing. Instantly move the potion. Surprisingly, it also requires level. Second AO. Holy Blessing Potion. It works, but not now. The protection of gods. It's also useful, but it's not very helpful for the current situation. Plus 13 Phantom Tai Dao. It can be used, but I don't know how to use it. I found it. It's you. Warlord Hornet. Lu Jiu saw Liuli's face changing and felt that this child must be foolish. Waha. Do you know Bumblebee, Lu Jiu? Seeing that there were still 10 warlords of the Hornet in the warehouse, Liuli finally felt at ease. Lu Jiu held the glass and said as he walked, I not only know about bumblebees, but also about wasps, the kind that can sting you all over the head. Oh. Lu Jiu, where are you taking me? With a gun in her hand, she didn't panic, and now Liuli's mood was relatively relaxed. The interrogation room of the dark side, Lu Jiu said succinctly. Well, you can't ask anything because I also want to know how this thing came out. Liuli said that it was too dark to see clearly at that time, so she really wanted to see again how the ghost hand was made. Even so, it's necessary for the people of the mountain tribe to confirm. Lu Jiu ran quickly on the roof, carrying the glass. Liuli only felt the cold ice rain slapping her face haphazardly. A tribe in the mountains. Well, there is a tribe in the mountains who possess a secret technique to search for other people's memories, so even if the mutation in your arm occurred without your knowledge, they must prove it to you. Lu Jiu explained. Liuli. Wasp number. Why don't I remember that I still have this thing? Are you fooling around with Jibao's writing? Author. The plot needs it, don't worry about these details. Liuli. Oh, can I have an epic set that can be worn at level 1? Just one set. Author. No, only plus 13 Phantom Tai Dao, level growth equipment. Liuli. It seems like I already have that thing, right? Author. Love is important, don't get lost. No matter how hard it is, the phantom blade is gone. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Crisis. My eyes are fixed on the future. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Crisis. My eyes are fixed on the future. A tribe in the mountains. Ah. What a headache. Liuli knew the secret techniques of the mountain tribe, which were like soul-searching spells in cultivation novels, allowing her to view the memories of others. Can't we not prove it? It's just a ghost hand, as for what? Liuli said angrily. If his memory were seen by the people of the mountain tribe, he wouldn't know how much trouble it would cause. Moreover, Liuli doesn't want others to browse his memories casually. Oh. Is that right? Lu Jiu asked playfully. The fox's tail has finally come out. I'm not the whirlpool Juxina, where did the fox tail come from? Liuli suddenly broke free and rolled twice on a roof to stop. How do you know? Lu Jiu was surprised, and the identity of Jiuwei Renjuli was absolutely confidential. So what is your purpose? Is it the nine-tailed pillar force? Shwa shwa shwa. A circle of masked dark tribes surrounded the roofs around them, along with Lu Jiu enclosing the glass. Hey, hey, hey. Don't just guess. Liuli only has 2 words in her heart now. Pills. It's okay if you don't say it, we'll all know anyway. Lu Jiu's hands were sealed, and a pitch-black shadow shot towards the glass arrow. This print looks so familiar. Liuli was surprised and then jumped from the roof without hesitation. Damn it. Lu Jiu's shadow extended to the edge of the roof, unable to keep up with the glass in the air. However, the darkness around them began to move one after another, and 3 iron chains shot out from 3 directions, trying to tie the glass together. Binding something is really exciting. The art of teleportation. Bang! A huge cloud of smoke appeared below the glass, steadily catching it while also bouncing the iron chains thrown by the dark side with its massive volume. Of course, the teleportation technique was just a blind cry from Liuli. All he did was release a hornet warlord. A huge steel giant rushed out of the smoke, howling incessantly with the sound of the wind. Amidst the flying dust, Naradir was rolled over by the strong wind for a long time and stopped, blocking his head with one hand to watch the huge black shadow passing over his head. The art of teleportation. Damn it, what level of teleportation beast is this? Ah ho ah. Liuli's excited cry came from the sky. Oh ha. Lu Jiu, my hornet has arrived. Where is your hornet? A war monster with a yellow coating, a huge steel body, flames that provide power spurting from the soles of its feet, and a blue energy glow emanating from its chest. When people saw the hornet clearly in the sky, they all showed surprised expressions. What kind of thing is this? Is this a puppet? How could there be such a big puppet? Hurry up and notify Lord Huiying. Even the ninjas in the dark were a bit panicked, and the people who saw this scene were all moving away from the range of this steel monster. Liuli sat inside the control room of the Hornet, with the surrounding screens projecting images of the outside world. Aha, let's familiarize ourselves with the skills first. Liuli's voice came from inside the Hornet and echoed through the sky through its built-in loudspeaker. Hornet Warlord, in the game it is just a prop for scrolling pictures. The specific image is a large mecha, which looks a bit fatter than the bumblebee inside the Transformers. The Hornet uses a machine gun for regular attacks, and in addition, it also has 5 skills. There are 4 attack skills and 1 displacement skill, respectively. Multiple rocket launchers with tracking effects, resembling Iron Man's shoulder cannon, multiple laser cannons with gorgeous effects and explosive damage, carpet bombing shelling, and the most terrifying quantum bomb. This is not the quantum bomb skill used by ordinary marksmen to become gunners, it is a 10-fold version of the super quantum bomb. A super high damage skill that can instantly trigger a hellish difficulty boost, estimated to be a portable nuclear bomb, restaurant. Finally, there is an emergency avoidance skill that allows its massive body to flexibly dodge some damage. Liuli is generally familiar with the operation and skill release of the hornet, so there is no need for experiments, otherwise the wooden leaves will be damaged. Moreover, the skills of the hornet are all AoE, so there is no need to worry about accuracy in such a large range. On this side, Liuli piloted the hornet cruising in the sky with a majestic aura, while on that side, Mai was already on first-level alert. Sandai Muhuang Ape Fei Rizhan has dispatched a large number of ninjas, and even he himself is ready to take action. The ninjas were busy evacuating the crowd when a handsome yellow-haired man suddenly appeared in front of Lu Jiu. Didi. Your friend's yellow flash has been launched. Lu Jiu saw the newcomer clearly and immediately exclaimed, "It's really great that you came to Shuemen." At this time, the Wave Wind Water Gate, which is not yet the fourth-generation Hokage, has gradually emerged with its powerful strength, and has earned a shining yellow title. Although I haven't used the name Yellow Flash to kill the enemy and give up the mission when they see him, my strength is indeed very strong. The main reason is because he knows the time and space ninja created by second-generation Hokage. The Flying Thunder God Technique. The technique of Flying Thunder God can teleport as long as the technique is left behind, and it also has the ability to carry people, objects, and shells. It's a shameless bug-level ninjutsu. What's the situation with that one above? Seeing the hornet dancing in the sky, Watergate was a bit confused about the current situation. If it is an enemy, then the other party should come down and destroy it. If it were a friendly army, Lord Hokage wouldn't have caused such a big scene. Is it from the neutral camp? Lu sighed for a long time. He didn't understand what was happening now. I was originally just conducting an investigation task, but it seems that when I said I would use the secret techniques of the mountain tribe to explore his memory, he went berserk and even summoned such a thing with the technique of teleportation. It seems that checking someone else's memory is really an unpleasant behavior. Do we need to negotiate with them first? Asked Bo Fengshui. You can do whatever you want, but that little ghost likes to say strange things. Lu Jiu thought he could let Bo Fengshui Gate consume a wave first and spend some time. Why waste time? Because we need to wait for the Wooden Leaf Sealing Team to arrive. The Sealing Team doesn't know how to fly Thunder God, so they won't arrive at the scene so quickly. Bo Fengshui nodded, but soon he noticed a difficulty. That cargo can fly. How can we have a conversation? Okay, there are two options left for the Wave Wind Water Gate now. 1. Summon a big toad, that's enough to have a conversation with the people above at an altitude. 2. Use the Flying Thunder God to slowly communicate with the other person. So, Bo Feng, what is your choice? Shuemen picked out a Flying Thunder God, painless, and accurately shot directly at the hornet. Ding! Kuwu means that the opponent's skin is too thick, and I am completely unable to break through the defense. The restaurant was then bounced off. However, in the next second, the water gate had already appeared, and chakra was attached to the sole of the shoe. The ninja sandals clattered upwards as they stepped on the outer shell of the hornet. What is this yellow-haired ninja doing? Liuli, who was familiar with driving the hornet, saw a yellow-haired ninja wearing a green vest charging up on the body of the hornet. Shuemen. Remember, son, whether in games or anime, handsome yellow-haired people like us are usually the main characters. Author. Naruto is not yet alive. Besides, do you believe that I will kill you? Watergate. Cut. Jealousy. Author. I have learned a new trick. Big mana. Shuemen. What are you calling mom for? I'll wipe it. What a big quantum. The Flying Thunder God's art. Flash Man. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Crisis. My eyes are fixed on the future. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Crisis. My eyes are fixed on the future. Wrapped in a green vest, a head of yellow hair sways in the wind. A handsome face, gentle but resolute eyes, and of course, the most distinctive feature is the three-pronged special painless hand in his hand. I'll wipe it. You're Shuemen. Liuli exclaimed in surprise, capturing one wild fourth generation. Shoo! Shuemen leapt to the top of the hornet, but did not see anyone. According to his and his teacher's habit of summoning the great toad, ninjas who cast psychic spells should stand on the head of the psychic beast. But now it seems that the other party doesn't have this habit. And the other party's psychic beast is very strange, with a faint aura of life in the metal shell. It is unknown whether it is a large puppet or a monster wrapped in a metal shell. Do we know each other? Upon hearing the other person shout out their name, Watergate was unsure if they knew each other. Of course. I don't know you. To be precise, I know you and you don't know me. And I had a question I wanted to ask you a long time ago, Liuli smiled. What's the problem? Just. Did the 9 llamas empathize with you when you were dealing with 9 Shinai? So, it's understandable that the 9 llamas hate humans so much. Ha ha ha. The entire space was filled with laughter emanating from the hornet, which was lewd and evil. Sure enough. Lu Jiu wiped the black line on his forehead. The sound from the speaker of the hornet spread far away. The third generation Hokage, who was observing from a distance, silently wiped the sweat off his forehead. Lu Jiu is right. You really like to talk nonsense, but as a ninja, I won't let your language disturb my mood, said Shuemen calmly. Hey. Can you scatter the spiral pill in your hand and say that again? It's completely unconvincing, hey. Liuli looked at the serious and nonsensical Shuemen and almost believed him, if it weren't for the sudden addition of a blue chakra ball in his hand. The A.level imprintless ninjutsu Spiral Maru and the A.level ninjutsu multi-shadow clone technique are both the two most commonly used skills of Naruto Vortex, claiming to be a divine skill that allows players to continuously rub the Maru until the final outcome after learning it. And the developer of the spiral pill is none other than Bofeng Shuemen. 9 llamas. Do you know the identity of 9 Shinai? If possible, Shuemen would prefer to have a quiet conversation with Liuli. But the hornet comes with its own big horn, and even the entire wooden leaf heard those few words from Liuli just now, but it's difficult for people from nearby streets not to hear them. Well, of course I know. Vortex 9 Shina, wife of the 4th generation Hokage Wave Feng Shui Gate, mother of the 7th generation Hokage Vortex Naruto, descendant of the Vortex clan, 9-tailed person Julie, skilled in sealing. Well, that's probably all. Speaking these few words, Liuli exclaimed in her heart, feeling so happy. The feeling of spoilers is just so great. It's so satisfying that I can't breathe. 4th generation Fire Shadow Wave Feng Shui Gate. 7th generation I Naruto Hokage Vortex. 9-tailed Pillar Force Vortex 9 Shinai. The horn on board the hornet was not covered, and the nearby ordinary ninjas, dark ninjas, and villagers who had not yet run far listened to these news truthfully. Oh, how could that be? Lu sighed for a long time. I will not comment on the 4th and 7th Hokage events for now. Just exposing the identity of the 9-tailed Takashi will bring a series of troubles to Kiba. How could someone know about the intelligence of the 9-tailed man's pillar power? I need an explanation. Ape Flying Sun / was also angry. However, he didn't care about what Liuli said about the 4th and 7th Hokage. 7 generations of Vortex Naruto. The children of Shuemen and Juxina. Will a Hokage's son follow his mother's surname? Are you really teasing me? This is pure nonsense. Monkey Fly subconsciously believes that Liuli is talking nonsense. I think we need to have a good face-to-face conversation, said Watergate. It's impossible to come out. You think I'm stupid. Liuli said she would never leave the hornet, because once she goes out, she will definitely be the meat on the chopping board. It's impossible to come out. So, your essence is inside this thing, right? Shuemen pressed the meatball in his hand directly onto the hornet. Spiral ball. Bang! The spiral pill fiercely concentrated the outer shell armor of the hornet, and a large block of the outer shell directly sank down from the top of the hornet's head. The metal shell was torn open by the terrifying force of the spiral pill. I wiped it. I lost 1/10 of my blood directly. Liuli exclaimed in surprise. Damn it. Watergate, are you really a boss? The damage is so high. Is it 1/10? Watergate received this information and immediately became more confident. However, we need to switch to a different battlefield next. Shuemen pressed his palm on the hornet and said, the art of flying thunder god. The scenery around suddenly changed, from the village of Kiba to an unseen forest. Damn it. Flying thunder god is a bug. Bug. Leading people to teleport, this is the abnormality of the flying thunder god. Not to mention the hornet, a large war machine, on the night of the 9 tails, even the 9 tails of the Watergate can carry a force displacement, which further demonstrates how abnormal this ninjutsu is. New environment, new ninjutsu. Spiritual communication. The art of crushing vendors. I saw Shuemen bite through his finger and cast a ninjutsu. If I remember correctly. Avoid it urgently. The hornet's massive body undergoes a lateral displacement, accelerating at rest with residual shadows. Boom. A huge black shadow fell from the sky and flattened a piece of land. A super large toad carrying 2 knives landed on the position just taken by the hornet. Did you dodge? Watergate didn't expect the opponent to be able to dodge this move. The suddenness of this move is quite strong, and the range is large, making it difficult not to hit it. But how could he understand that Liuli knew that Zilai had also used this move? Oh. Double sword clam. It's not Toad Wentai, I'm still a little disappointed. The double knife toad has appeared several times, but Liuli doesn't remember its name anymore. However, at the beginning of the plot, the Toad Wentai Liuli, who had fought against the defending crane summoned by me, Ailua, has a deeper reflection. Do you still know Wentai? Shuemen was really surprised this time. Not many people know about Jiu Shinai's situation, but the possibility of leakage is also high. But the toad in Myo Mushin should only be known to him and teacher Zalea. I not only know Toad Buntai, but also Toad Wan. Toad Balls. Yes, it's the big toad fairy you call, the one who prophesied blindly all day long. Now Shuemen has really eaten a whale. Do you even know the great toad fairy? How strong is the other party's strength? I don't know if the next moves are still useful. Shuemen couldn't help but feel a bit worried. In fact, the following moves are really useful against Liuli. Diamond Blockade. The powerful sealing technique that can suppress tailed beasts is unleashed, with chains running through the air, forming a sealing barrier. Liuli's eyelids twitched. Can this thing, the hornet, break through? It seems impossible. After all, it is a powerful sealing technique that can suppress the 9 tails. What if we release quantum bombs? Will they blow themselves up together? It seems very likely. After all, this is not a game, it won't be immune to friendly damage. My eyes are fixed on the future. Liuli only had time to put on the last push before being enveloped by the sudden blooming light on the ground. Sealing class successfully combined to cast ninjutsu. Shuemen's fingers twitched, but there was no movement. Naruto Vortex. Ah, what's going on? Ryuri, you're such a spoiler. How can I play in the future? Liuli said, I didn't write the script. It's none of my business, and by the way, your role shouldn't have been much. Naruto. Nani. I am the protagonist. Liuli. Hee da. You've allocated all your scenes to Mr. Ban. If you have any objections, go find Mr. Ban. Naruto. Damn it, I must snatch back the trick from that Ban. Yuji Boban. Heavenly obstacles shake the stars. Boom. Shakalaka, just now, I seemed to hear someone say they wanted to snatch my scene. Observing the crowd, no. Illusion. It's definitely your old man's illusion. Naruto. Help. Help. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Someone once added bricks and detonated the construction of wooden leaves. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Someone once added bricks and explosive symbols to the construction of wooden leaves. Quantum bomb. Liuli's final voice came from the sealing technique. A quantum bomb coated in military green suddenly fell from the sky. The position of this attack. Why is it so far off? Watergate saw the attack passing through the sky and landing at least a kilometer away. Boom. Strong flashes, waves, and shockwaves hit. So strong. Shuiman's heart tightened, his pupils contracted, and cold sweat flowed out from his back clip. Hoo 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 hoo. The wind howls and waves sweep across. Even though it is so far away, Watergate can still feel the aftermath of this technique called quantum bomb. Fortunately, the power of the aftershocks was not strong, and the sealing barrier was easily resisted. If this spell hits them head-on, even Watergate probably won't be able to save everyone present. Unless Watergate uses the Flying Thunder God technique to divert the attack. Next, the Hornet did not make any substantial resistance. King Kong blocked and restricted its movement, and pulled out a white-haired little ghost from inside the Hornet. Capture a piece of Wugeng glass. I caught him at Watergate. The excited girl shouted from the forest below. Boom. The lost control Hornet fell from the air, crushing many trees. The ninjas below avoided early, and Watergate also left the Hornet's head before it crashed. Thank you for your hard work, Juxina. Shuemen looked at Juxina with indulgence, and Juxina withdrew her spell. The glass that was dragged out of the Hornet by the chain was thrown to the ground, looking at the two with an unhappy expression. Shuemen has blonde hair and Juxina has red hair. Liuli said that the art teacher was right, red paired with yellow, bright and bright, it's like flashing a blind dog's eye. Is that the child controlling that big guy? Jiu Shinai curiously looked at Liuli. Well, but this time it's really thanks to everyone, said Shuemen humbly. On the other hand, Shan's Honghai, with yellow hair and blue eyes, received messages from the communication team layer by layer and said to Nara Lugio and others who were still in Kiba, Shuemen, and they have taken care of it. They have already captured the target, Wugeng Liuli. Ha, that's great. The ninjas breathed a sigh of relief. However, Lugio was puzzled and said, so fast. Even if the sealing team is ready, they should still have the strength to struggle. It seems that the battle ended so quickly because the opponent's attack was off course, said Hai Yamanaka. Missed. Well, no matter what, it's finally over. It feels like a farce. The specific way to catch the other party will be known later, and Lugio didn't ask much. So I'll go back and report to Lord Huiying first. Shuemen took the already packaged and bound glass and prepared to use the Flying Thunder God to go back. Wait, I have something to say. Liuli quickly shouted. Shuemen's eyebrows twitched, an ominous omen brewing in his heart. What are you going to say? Shuemen was ready and swore with his ability to play with the Flying Thunder God's outstanding nerve reaction speed. He would never let Liuli reveal any more powerful information. I just want to ask the 9th Lama about his human pillar power being fucked. Shwa. A gust of wind blew by, and a few leaves danced in the air. Ah. Where are the people? The two people in front of her suddenly disappeared, and Jiu Shinai said, what are you playing with? In the Shuemen family, even the usually gentle Shuemen couldn't help but blush. Almost. Just now almost. This little ghost is going to talk about the strange topic of, what does a tail beast feel like when a human pillar tries to do shy things, again. Enough, little devil. Watergate was actually angry. Who are you calling a little ghost? I'm much older than you see. Liuli said reluctantly. Sigh. I met the Toad Fairy and even said that I was very old, but on the surface, I was just a little kid. Was it an old monster that turned into a child? However, Shuemen doesn't have time to brainstorm anymore. He needs to take Liuli to Lord Huiying's place. If he has been in contact with Liuli alone for too long, it will definitely cause criticism. The body is just an accessory, the soul is the essence. Also, before sending me to the third generation, I have 2 words to say to you. What do you want to say again? Shuemen had already taken deep precautions against Liuli's mouth. Firstly, Juxina will soon die, you can't stop it, said Liuli confidently. Secondly, the wooden leaves are about to be destroyed, which you can prevent. Upon hearing this, Shuemen was startled, but he calmly stared at Liuli. Why do I believe you? Liuli said nonchalantly, well, more than a decade ago, when my village in the fire country and Yangyan village in the mountain country were at war, I seem to have built many new buildings. What does it mean? Watergate was puzzled. Guess how many detonating symbols are inside those buildings? Liuli threw a heavy bomb. What? Shuemen quickly synthesized the information. During the battle between Mai and Yangyan village, how many explosive symbols were there in the buildings built at that time? All of this only reveals one meaning. Are you saying that Yangyan village sent spies to place detonating symbols on our wooden leaves back then? To be precise, it's all covered with wooden leaves. After all, Yangyan village planned to destroy them in one fell swoop, Liuli said with a smile. Is explosion art? Do you want to enjoy the spectacular scene of the destruction of the wooden leaves together? Shuemen automatically ignored the sentence after Liuli. If this is really the case, then we must immediately report to the third generation eyes. Shuemen immediately took Liuli and set off towards Huiying Tower, while Liuli made fun of Shuemen on the way. Why not put up a flying thunder god technique in the fire shadow tower? It's so convenient. Hee hee. Shuemen said he didn't want to speak. How could a place like Huiying Tower have the flying thunder god technique printed on it? Isn't this giving people a handle? Actually, when you become the Hokage, there's no problem. Fly wherever you want. Liuli casually said, but her words seemed to take the fact that Shuemen became the Hokage as a fact. Watergate has no words. Bang bang. Come in. 3 generations of eyes, bring the glass to the 5th watch. Shuemen lowered the glass. Sandai Mu Huiying Ape Fei Ri Jian saw the 1.2 tall little Liuli and sneered, you are truly terrifying to the younger generation. You have good skills, but you can sneak into Mu Yi to the end. Younger generation. Who are you talking about? Liuli rudely interrupted Ape Fei. At least I can be considered a person who has seen the hand-torn 10 tails of Otomuki Yumura. How dare you call me a descendant? Liuli activated the rambling mode. The Tong Mu Yu village. 10 tails. Monkey Fly said, staring blankly at the dog. Well, Datong Mu Yu village is what you call the 6 immortals, and 10 tails is. It's 1 tail plus 2 tails plus 3 tails all the way up to 9 tails. Monkey flying indicates that the dog is getting old and seems to have brought back an ancestor-level character. The young Watergate doesn't quite understand these things. Although the 6 immortals and 10 tails are very close, what's important now is the matter of detonating talismans. Sandai Mu, there is a very important situation. Shuemen felt that he had to interrupt Sandai and Liuli, otherwise he might have been delayed here today. The intelligence I just received from Wugeng Liuli suggests that mine may have a major crisis. Then, Shuaimen recounted what Liuli had told him. Liuli. Speaking of 30 years, the detonating talisman array buried has not been discovered by anyone. Is it because the Kiba Hinata clan respects others' privacy more? Hinata said, "That's right, we Hinata are all gentlemen and never use our white eyes to sneak a peek. Everyone must believe us." End of this chapter.